Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing another television series review, so hopefully you find this one interesting. This series is from the UK, English language, released in the year 2026, directed by Ricky Gervais, and this show is called Alley Cats. So Alley Cats is set in an animated world. We have some stray cats that are wandering the streets aimlessly. They're talking between each other, they're contemplating life, and they're also bantering with each other, basically telling jokes at each other's expense, and this is how they survive the harsh world. But then one day they're approached by a kitten who's distraught. This kitten is lost, she wants to find her home. So the cats take it upon themselves to make it their mission to find this kitten's home, but along the way they're all going to learn a thing or two about each other. So what happens at that point on? Something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Alley Cats. There are two comedians in this world that can make me laugh, and two comedians that I see as very, very important to me. Number one, that is Larry David, and number two, that is Ricky Gervais. Now, Larry David, Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm, absolutely love that guy, but Ricky Gervais is a little bit more special to me because his humour, the British side of humour, is a lot more relatable to me. So a lot of his shows, there are moments that happen that I could actually think to myself, that has actually happened to me. And so that relatability is just what makes Ricky Gervais the special comedian that he is. And another reason why he's so special to me is that during my worst times in life between 2005 2010, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had horrible depression and anxiety. I didn't want to live anymore. I was very suicidal, and nothing really made me laugh. But then I watched Ricky Gervais' The Office, the original British version of The Office, and that made me laugh. And I thought to myself, who is Ricky Gervais? I hadn't heard of him before at that time. And when I watched that series, each episode made me laugh and made me forget about all my problems. So for a while I had that method of escape. So it always came back, that sense of dread and depression, but every time I saw something of Ricky Gervais, I could just forget about those problems for the time being. So after The Office, he made Dexterous, that I thought was absolutely fantastic. He made Derek, Afterlife. He also made Life's Too Short with Warwick Davis. He made another show called An Idiot Abroad with Carl Pilkington, who he also did some radio work in XFM, Carl Pilkington and Steve Merchant. They also did a series of podcasts with Steve Merchant and Carl Pilkington. And so everything Ricky has been associated with, I've gone and watched, and I could just get a lot out of it. So some I've liked better than others, but overall he's very, very consistent at actually making me laugh at stuff that you wouldn't necessarily find funny. And this is something that is all about humour, being able to laugh at a really bad event. And so that's something that really helped me in my time. Laughter is the best medicine, it really is. If I didn't know how to laugh back then, after I saw Ricky Gervais' show, I don't think I would have been here. I don't think I would have survived all that horrible time that I had being down in the dumps. So laughter is definitely very important, but unfortunately laughter these days is a forgotten art, because it's all about being offended. It's all about looking for things that are inappropriate, and it's all about being glued to the screen and listening and watching the news about what's happening overseas and all the horrible events. So being consumed by darkness, it is very easy to forget about lightheartedness. And so Ricky Gervais is always there to remind you. So he reminded me, and I'm hoping out there he'll remind a lot of other people what it is to laugh. And so Alley Cats is another example of what it is to laugh at horrible things. They're very, very crude humour that this show has. And the crude humour makes no apologies. It's not confined to a level of safety. It's not worried to make people upset. And just because you're upset, it doesn't mean you're right or you're wrong. If you don't like this style of humour and you find it repulsive, fair enough, each to their own. Humour is subjective. Just because I really like the show doesn't necessarily mean that you might like his show. But what I love about his shows is that not only are they very funny, they have a little bit of meaning behind them as well. And this show was meaning about life. It's meaning about, the complexities of life and how friendships can form to make life a little bit easier, and life after death, what happens, and comforting someone that is really, really scared. And so the show has a strong tenderness to it, and underneath all of that really crude and sexual sort of humour that this show has, and the profanity, I just thought to myself, there is that warm-heartedness that just makes you feel as though, okay, this is something I can think about, and it's something so much more than just shocking an audience. So as far as shock value is concerned, I thought it was very good. There's a lot of C-bombs in this show. So if you are offended by bad language, steer well away from this. It's a show that it just shows you the harsh realities of life, as far as swearing, as far as the really crude jokes. And these are jokes that we've all said amongst each other. Well, at least me with my friends. I've said jokes that are very inappropriate, but you say it in a very limited setting. So at the appropriate setting, you say you tell these awful jokes. And these cats, when they're going about their daily life, again, this is the relatability that comes out. I just thought, all right, well, this particular cat joking with this cat is like my friend joking with me. And so that relatability just makes it a little bit more, charming, and that's something that I really liked. I thought each cat had their own characteristics. There was a very posh cat, there was a dirty cat, there was a very smelly, just a really disgusting cat, and each cat I just felt as though, yes, they have their repulsive qualities, but they have their really warm qualities as well that makes it really, really likable. So the chemistry between all these cats I thought was fantastic. The animation took me back to yesteryear. It's not over-the-top, modernised animation, which is something I like. It's very nostalgic. It reminded me of the cartoons I used to watch as a kid, so I really like that. I thought as though the runtime was very, very fast, and that's an issue I had with this show. I thought as though it was rushed to a point where it felt like a side project. I just felt as though there wasn't enough time and attention to this series to make it fully rewarding. I just thought as though I would have liked it to be a little bit longer. So 17-minute episodes for a 6-episode season. I just thought to myself, it's over before you know it, and I just thought as though it could have used a little bit more love. Pushing that aside, there is love to this show, but I just thought as though it felt like more of a side project than a main project. So that was the issue I had with it. But as I said, if you're easily offended, stay clear of this. There's a lot of sexual jokes. If you like cats, you're probably going to like this show. Again, if you are not easily offended. For me, I'm more of a dog person, but I like cats as well. And the way that these cats are used in this show emulates what you would think real cats would be like. As I said, there's the arrogance, there's that sense that humans are below them, and I really like that aspect as well. And so it's so much more than just a silly, shocking cartoon. There is a lot of life behind it, and it's just something I really, really appreciate, and it's another example of how Ricky Gervais can make me laugh, and as a result of that, I want to give this show 3.5 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.